about the way the information is going to be generated and how it's going to be used on a real-time basis. Now, when all these systems are going to come together and get connected, the amount of information that's going to be generated is going to be humongous. Okay, so it will happen, the data will get generated based on the various cameras that you have set up for surveillance, from identification readers to wireless networks to sensing devices to having several software logs going on to figure out the momentum of how the devices are moving, the ones that we are tracking. Now, when a large number of this data is going to be generated, it's going to be one hell of a task in terms of figuring out few things like, what is the data that we need? What kind of data do we exclude for analysis? What is the data that is useful to us and not useful to us? And then being able to leverage technologies available in the market, or having proper IT support in terms of handling such data will be a task. The other big issue will be, if you look at all the business scenarios, like from going from social network analysis to traffic flow optimizations to a lot of these business scenarios that are available, and then the data is available, let's say for healthcare outcomes. How do you pick up the data that is there, and how do you identify what the business, what the data is telling you in terms of business insights is going to be a tricky manner. Now, the data is going to come to us in a variety of formats. Okay? So this is what the big data talks about, in making sure that you are able to figure out the data that is required, and you also understand the format in which it is coming, and then you are able to handle large analytics, especially the the new analytics that is more in prevalence right now, such as machine learning process to and also conducting huge text analytics, image analytics, and sound analytics to be able to draw conclusions on what it is telling us about the data, about our own businesses, and trying to find profitability areas. If you look at, let's say, fraud detection, we're going to handle large sets of data here, and then being able to, and it happens once in a while, so the prevalence of fraud is not so high when compared to the large volumes of business we conduct. So how do you identify something like that? So we have a lot of usage here in terms of how we crunch these numbers against various business scenarios. What I will take you through right now is something, the way that we can do in the retail network. Kaushik, moving on to the next slide.
Yeah, Anuradha, it is done.
Okay. So here we're talking about the retail in-store experience using big data analytics. Okay. Now, there is a lot of information that is available here. We'll have information on the customer, their own purchasing behavior. Purchasing behavior would mean what is it that they buy, what frequency, are they price conscious, what are the months in which each of those products are being sold, so on and so forth. And then their own demographic information will be there in terms of customers, their profession, education, household characteristics, what age group they belong to, and what are their interests, and so on and so forth. So now, when we talk about big data analytics, here we're talking about large customer bases, information, running into thousands and thousands and thousands of records, and having to identify similar sets of customers to be able to make sure that the promotions that we create are handling each of those customer groups and appropriately. So the way that the Internet of Things is going to occur is that they're going to have a lot of sensors. So from various things, from to be able to all of them is targeted at improving customer experience and thereby improving your profitability. So the first thing would be to be able to do the micro-segmentation of the customers and having very customized promotional offers to target their requirements. Go to the next slide, Kaushik. Moving on to the next slide here, if you look at this entire picture on how it's going to affect a particular customer the minute they walk in. Today we walk in and we have promotion and offers that are coming in based on, more like a reactive measure of the customers. This is how they have been buying stuff. So the promotion that comes in is very reactive to the behavior in the past. But right now, when we talk about Internet of Things and how is it going to change, is what we're going to talk about in terms of real-time opportunities, business opportunities. So instead of waiting for a month or two for another promotion to come, let's say I walk into the store and I have no intention of buying. I probably, no intention of buying clothes, but I go to the book section. I just want to pick up a book. But then, the minute I walk in, because of the identification chips that are available, they can make out, okay, I have walked in, and in the past I have probably bought a lot of jeans, and they will say that, okay, 10% off on jeans for you. So from the minute that I walk in and I try out those jeans and I walk out, there is a lot of data that can get processed. So I walk into the store. So that's where the first push has gone in. Now, what could be other ways? The other ways to do it is that, let us say, if I'm trying out the jeans in a store, I could always ask for relevant related products or a similar fit of a different brand. And today we step out and ask the person who is outside helping us, saying that you have a similar size in a different brand. Whereas we could always have the smart mirrors and things like that, where you can seek information right at the fingertips, and an automated message goes to SLS, so the person who is standing outside from the store who is trying to help you, saying that, okay, I'm probably looking for a particular brand. I'm trying a brand A, and the brand C and the brand B could also be a relevant product for me to try it out. So, and then that is the customer experience. Now here we are not waiting until the sale has been done and the billing has been done, and then I'm not waiting. The store manager here is not really waiting for you to take out your frequent shopper program to say what kind of customer you are. The minute I walked in, and because of the hotspots, because of the RFID generators, they're able to figure out, okay, who this customer is based on the information that they have. They also look at other opportunities, such as maintaining the retail space, which is the most precious commodity, most precious resource, retail space being, the shelf space being very minimal. So today they probably go look at how much space is remaining, is the shelf overcrowded, does the shelf have enough product categories that they were supposed to have. They probably won't be doing all that manually. The chips can be installed, and as soon as the product is coming down in volume, the messages go through to the data, the warehouse, and automated information is sent, and the store is filled back with the relevant product. So from the time so all of this is we are talking about improving customer experience. So from trying to buy, from not having an intention to purchase to actually buying the product, and the ease with which I can which a customer can browse through the product and get help in terms of finding the relevant product and being price conscious, is what the Internet of Things will enable for any retail business. That's all for me. Moving to you, Siddhartha.
Thank you, Anuradha. So going to the next slide, it's basically an architectural difference between what we have now. It's between a typical business intelligence and a data warehousing project, how we actually get in the data and do MIS reporting based on the historical data, and the difference between what big data analytics can do to your organization. So typically speaking, when you have in the current scenario, what is happening is that data is coming from multiple sources, including the data warehouses, if any, and from other source files, CSV files, and so on. And finally, a data warehouse is being prepared. Based on the data warehouse being prepared, customers are able to see how their products are faring in the market, or how the sales are going, what are the revenue generated, and so on. So everything based on history. But when you talk about the big data analytics architecture, it's fairly dynamic in place. So what Anuradha was talking about, it is all about, say, creating hotspots, wherein your mobile IDs and your RFIDs would be taken together. Based on that information, based on your mobile phone's information, the user would be identified, and thereby it will be looked up in near real time into a particular NoSQL database, and thereby if the customer is existing. So we are actually talking about a premium customer, a premium loyalty customer. So if their information is already existing in the data warehouse, in the NoSQL database, then that appropriate information would be picked up, and based on that user's liking, dislike, etc., a particular gift coupon or a recommendation-based approach would be provided to that user in the smartphone itself or in the tablet itself. So based on that, the user can actually decide whether to go ahead with that offer since he or she is already within the mall or within next to the store, or he or she can might not like accept that offer. But in any case, an offer would be placed so that the user has the opportunity and the flexibility to like decide whether to go ahead or not. So thereby again increasing the customer experience wherein you're actually getting offers in near real time, and thereby you can make decisions based on that. So going to the next one, here it's basically a difference between the existing electricity grids which we have as in place versus the ones which would be coming up in say a couple of years from now. So currently what is happening is that in the electricity sector,